If you think poor sleep just makes you tired, you are missing the real risk. Sleep is one of the most powerful regulators of your blood sugar, your blood pressure, your hormones, your immune system, and your cognitive function. And the part that makes it genuinely dangerous, your sleep can be harming your biology long before you feel exhausted. Today, I'm going to walk you through 3 specific warning signs that your sleep is actively damaging your health, not just inconveniencing you. For each one, I'll explain exactly what is happening in your body and what to do about it. And if you go through this thinking, I know my sleep isn't good, but I can't fix it right now, stay to the end, because I'll address specifically what to do when life does not allow perfect sleep. My name is Dr. Victor Hayes. Let's begin with why sleep matters in ways most people fundamentally underestimate. Most people think of sleep as rest, passive downtime between active periods. That framing misses what is actually happening. Sleep is not passive recovery, it is active biological repair. During sleep, your brain clears out metabolic waste products through a system called the glymphatic pathway, a process that is nearly 10 times more active during sleep than wakefulness. This helps explain why chronic sleep loss is now linked to accelerated cognitive decline and increased Alzheimer's risk. Your blood vessels repair themselves overnight. Your pancreas recalibrates insulin sensitivity. Your immune system consolidates its memory of threats encountered during the day. Your stress hormones reset and your cardiovascular system recovers from the demands of the previous day. Every major biological system relies on sleep for maintenance. When that process is disrupted, the effects ripple outward, measurable in blood tests, blood pressure readings, hormonal profiles, and cognitive performance, long before anyone collapses from exhaustion. What makes chronic sleep disruption particularly insidious is that it does not damage one system. It damages multiple systems simultaneously. Blood sugar rises, blood pressure climbs, appetite hormones dysregulate, immune function weakens, memory formation impairs, all at once, all compounding. Warning sign number 1, you wake up feeling unrested despite spending 7 or 8 hours in bed. This is probably the most common sleep complaint I encounter, and it is almost universally attributed to stress, age, or something undefined that is just how things are now. That attribution is wrong. Waking unrefreshed despite adequate time in bed is not normal. It is a red flag that your sleep quality is compromised in a way that has real metabolic and cardiovascular consequences. The issue here is not sleep duration, it is sleep architecture. Your body may be spending too much time in light sleep and insufficient time in the deep, slow-wave sleep and REM sleep stages, where the critical repair actually happens. Or you may be waking repeatedly throughout the night without remembering it, disrupting those restorative cycles. Sleep fragmentation specifically has been linked to insulin resistance, elevated blood pressure, and dysregulated appetite the following day. Your body does not get the opportunity to fully reduce cortisol during the night, so you wake with your stress response still partially active. What actually helps here is not simply more time in bed. It is protecting the quality of the sleep you're already getting. Start with consistency. Waking at the same time every day, including weekends, is the single most powerful circadian anchor available. Morning light exposure within the first hour of waking reinforces this signal and makes it substantially easier to fall asleep at the appropriate time that night. Reduce caffeine intake after midday. Avoid alcohol close to bedtime. Alcohol fragments sleep architecture and suppresses REM sleep, producing less restorative rest even when total hours appear adequate. Protect the first half of the night. Most of your deep, slow-wave sleep occurs in the early part of your sleeping period. Creating a dark, quiet, cool environment and avoiding anything that activates your stress response in the final hour before bed significantly improves the depth of sleep in those critical early hours. Warning sign number 2, energy that is all over the place, hunger that returns too quickly after eating, and cravings for sugary or high-fat foods that feel difficult to resist. This does not feel like a sleep problem. It feels like a willpower problem or a dietary discipline problem or just how your body works. But the sleep connection is direct and well established. Here is what is happening. Poor sleep disrupts the two hormones that regulate appetite, Ghrelin, the hunger-driving hormone, rises. Leptin, the fullness-signaling hormone, falls. The result, you feel hungrier, you feel less satisfied after meals, and you are physiologically drawn toward calorie-dense foods, exactly the foods that worsen insulin resistance over time. Simultaneously, sleep deprivation impairs your body's ability to handle glucose. Even a single night of insufficient sleep can reduce insulin sensitivity by up to 30%. The same meal that your metabolism manages smoothly after restorative sleep causes a significantly larger blood sugar spike and more sustained elevation when you are sleep deprived. This is not anecdotal. Controlled research at the University of Chicago Sleep Laboratory restricted healthy young adults to short sleep for a single week. Their glucose tolerance had declined to pre-diabetic levels within that week, from sleep deprivation alone, in previously healthy individuals. The other factor is cortisol. When sleep is insufficient, cortisol does not follow its normal rhythm, declining through the day and reaching its lowest point overnight. Instead, it stays persistently elevated. That sustained elevation drives continued appetite for comfort foods, keeps you in a state of metabolic alertness, and makes fat storage rather than fat burning the default. Over weeks and months, this pattern leads to weight gain, progressive metabolic dysfunction, and elevated risk of type 2 diabetes. People blame their diet or their willpower. The root cause is upstream in their sleep quality. What helps? Sleep schedule consistency stabilizes the hormonal rhythms that regulate appetite. A protein-forward breakfast the morning after disrupted sleep blunts blood sugar and appetite dysregulation. Limiting late evening eating preserves sleep depth by keeping your digestive system quieter overnight. And reducing evening screen exposure, particularly from phones, preserves melatonin production and helps you fall asleep at a useful time. Warning sign number 3. Gradual changes in blood pressure, mood stability, or cognitive sharpness that are accumulating slowly over time. This is the warning sign that gets missed most often. Because the changes are subtle, you are a little more irritable, you are having slightly more difficulty concentrating at work, your blood pressure has crept up over the last few checkups, not enough to require medication yet, but moving in the wrong direction. These feel like separate, unrelated observations. They are not. They are connected symptoms of chronic sleep debt wearing down your nervous system. When sleep quality is chronically insufficient, your sympathetic nervous system, the system responsible for your fight or flight response, remains overactive. Over time, this produces higher resting heart rate, elevated blood pressure, and increased vascular stiffness. Large population studies have found that people consistently sleeping fewer than 6 hours have approximately 20% higher risk of developing hypertension. That is a meaningful cardiovascular risk elevation from sleep duration alone. The cognitive effects are equally measurable. Sleep deprivation impairs the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for emotional regulation, impulse control, and complex decision-making. You become quicker to anger, slower to make considered decisions, and more emotionally reactive. If you have noticed these changes in yourself and attributed them to stress, burnout, or personality, sleep is worth examining first. Working memory, attention, and processing speed all decline with chronic sleep deprivation. You may still be functioning, but you are operating meaningfully below your actual capacity. The slow onset means most people do not notice the decline until something forces them to recognize it. What helps? Treating sleep as the biological necessity it is, rather than a lifestyle variable to be optimized if time permits. Consistent sleep scheduling is the most powerful single intervention. Reducing alcohol, which fragments sleep and suppresses REM. Managing evening stress through a genuine wind-down routine. No work emails, no screens, no stimulating content in the final hour before bed. For people who snore loudly, wake with morning headaches, or feel excessively fatigued despite adequate sleep time, sleep apnea is worth investigating. It is significantly underdiagnosed, and treating it transforms both sleep quality and cardiovascular risk. Bring this up with your doctor. I want to be honest about something important. Not everyone can optimize their sleep. Shift workers, people with young children, caregivers for aging parents, professionals in demanding environments. These are real constraints. I have personally worked schedules that produced chronically disrupted sleep, and I know it is not always within your control. If you are in that situation right now, this is not a reason to feel anxious or resigned. Sleep matters, but it is one element within a broader system. The cumulative effect of your overall health behaviors determines outcomes, not any single imperfect factor in isolation. When sleep cannot be optimized, make everything else non-negotiable. Diet, whole foods, adequate protein, stable blood sugar, physical activity, even walking consistently. Social connection, because isolation compounds the cardiovascular and metabolic effects of poor sleep. Stress reduction, whatever genuinely works for you. None of these fully compensate for disrupted sleep, but they buffer the damage meaningfully, and they keep your overall disease risk substantially lower than it would otherwise be. Sleep is not optional recovery, it is active biological repair. The warning signs, waking unrefreshed, unpredictable energy and cravings, gradually worsening blood pressure or mood, are your body's way of telling you that the nightly repair process is failing to run completely. The good news, sleep is one of the most modifiable health factors available to you. You do not need expensive equipment or complex protocols. You need consistency, a few protective habits, and the decision to treat sleep as a priority rather than a casualty. Start with one change. Pick a consistent wake time and hold it for 2 weeks. See what shifts. If this was useful, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to this channel for more evidence-based content. I'll see you in the next video.